It is the year 1200. The sun has not fully risen over the horizon yet, but you are already awake. Not by choice, but because you have to be. The morning cold slips through the cracks in the stone like a thin, constant blade, and the smell rising from the damp straw where you spent the night mixes with smoke, sweat, and animal fat. You are not in a city. You are not in a village. You are inside a castle, one of the largest structures ever built by human hands up to this point in European history. And even so, the cold still reaches you. Before you picture shining towers, flawless nights, and lavish feasts, I need to ask you a question that will completely change how you see this world. What did it really mean to live inside a medieval castle in the year 1200 before war reached its gates? The answer may surprise you, because a castle was not what movies have shown you. It was something far more complex, louder, dirtier, and at the same time, far more intelligent than it appears at first glance. Let's begin with what you see as you open your eyes. The Great Hall is enormous, with wooden beams darkened by years of accumulated smoke. At the center, an open fire has been burning since the night before, not for comfort or aesthetics, but out of pure necessity. Without it, the cold would kill you long before winter ends. The stone walls are over a meter thick. This is not architectural exaggeration. It is what keeps invaders outside and tries to keep warmth inside, at least in theory. Around you, dozens of people begin to move slowly. Knights, squires, servants, cooks, blacksmiths, washerwomen, guards, the chaplain, advisors. The castle in the year 1200 operates like a compact small town. It is estimated that a mid-sized castle housed between 200 and 500 people in its normal daily life. That is before any crisis. Before any war, you walk down a narrow stone staircase, so steep that a single misstep could be fatal. And this is not a construction flaw. Historians and experts in medieval military architecture confirm that castle staircases were deliberately built in a clockwise spiral. This made it harder for right-handed invaders to descend while wielding swords. Even the staircase you use every day was designed as a defensive trap. Nothing here is random. Nothing exists by accident. The kitchen is already fully active when you arrive. The fire is never completely extinguished. Keeping it alive was a shared responsibility no one dared to neglect. On an iron grate, pieces of pork turn slowly. Yesterday's bread, hard as wood, will be softened in the broth boiling inside a large metal cauldron. There is no waste here. Every bone is boiled until nothing useful remains. Food reveals one of the most striking contrasts in this world. If you are noble, the lord of the castle, his family, or important guests, the table offers roasted meat, white bread, wine, and spices brought from distant lands that cost more than a servant earns in a year. If you are a servant, a common soldier, or a worker, your meal is pottage, a thick porridge made from vegetables and grains, sometimes with small pieces of meat when luck allows. You eat this every day, especially in winter. This is not simply cruelty, it is structure. This entire system is built upon a hierarchy as rigid as the stones surrounding you. Every person inside the castle has a place, a function, a level of access to warmth, food, space, and protection. And it is precisely this hierarchy that will be tested when war arrives. But before that happens, there is something few people talk about. Life inside a castle runs on an internal system that is surprisingly precise for its time. Imagine observing the castle from above, like a bird flying over the walls. What you would see is not just a fortress, but a living organism. A complex system of people, animals, tools, and routines working together in synchronization, completely challenging the idea that the 12th century was a primitive era. Every part of the castle has a function. Every person has a defined role. And the entire day, from sunrise to the ringing of the evening bell, revolves around a single collective mission: survival. The inner courtyard, known as the bailey, serves as the true heart of this structure. This is where daily life unfolds. Blacksmiths begin their work early, hammering glowing iron to produce horseshoes, nails, hinges, arrowheads, and blades. The sound is constant, metallic, almost deafening. Nearby, carpenter shape beams and planks to repair structures worn down by time and continuous use. Further ahead, washerwomen carry heavy buckets of water drawn from the central well. And it is at this moment that you realize something critical: the well is the most vital organ of the entire castle. Without water, the fortress would fail within days. That is why medieval builders known as master builders position the well in the most protected area possible, often within the main tower, the keep. Some castles dug wells over 30 meters deep into solid rock. Others relied on underground cisterns to store rainwater. Studies conducted on castles in England and France show that in many cases, the location of the well was determined before the walls were even built.
Water came before everything else. This reveals a great deal about how people thought at the time. These castles were not built to impress visually. They were designed to endure, to resist, and above all, to survive the worst possible scenario. And that scenario had a name known to everyone's siege. Even so, in times of peace, the castle maintained a more active social life than one might expect. During the afternoon in the Great Hall, the feudal lord receives petitions. Peasants from surrounding lands travel long distances to resolve disputes, report theft, or negotiate debts. The lord is not just a warrior. He acts as judge, administrator, tax collector, and leader. He sits in an elevated chair, not out of vanity, but because physical height conveys authority instantly in a society where most people cannot read. Beside him, the chaplain records each decision on parchment, using ink made from soot and plant resin. Every judgment, every agreement, every amount of grain collected as tax. These records function as an essential administrative system. Losing them in a fire or attack could destabilize the region's economy for years. Meanwhile, in another part of the castle, noble children receive their education. Boys learn to ride horses, handle swords and spears, and memorize religious teachings. Girls learn to manage households of hundreds, use medicinal herbs, sew, and negotiate alliances through marriage. None of them have the privilege of remaining children for long. By the age of 7, many are sent to other castles as pages or companions, strengthening political ties through family bonds. It is at this point that the romantic image begins to crack, because beneath all this organization, engineering, and structure lies a much harsher reality. Infant mortality was high, even among nobles. Simple infections could become fatal within days. Dental problems could turn deadly. Women frequently died in childbirth. Sick servants were replaced quickly, like parts in a system that could not stop. The castle provided protection but demanded a constant price from those who lived within it. Then, on what seems like an ordinary morning, everything changes. You are in the courtyard when a knight rides across the drawbridge at full speed. The horse is covered in foam, exhausted, while the man's armor is marked by impact and mud. He dismounts before the animal even fully stops and shouts something that freezes everyone around him. An army is approaching. This is not a small group of raiders. It is not a minor border conflict. It is an organized force with banners, siege machines, and a clear intention to attack. And it is less than 2 days away. Within minutes, the entire castle transforms. What once functioned as a system of peace becomes a machine of war. Orders are shouted in every direction. The gates are reinforced with iron bars. The drawbridge is raised. Messengers are sent on horseback to nearby lands, asking for help or spreading warning. Food reserves are immediately inspected. And it is in this moment that you understand, in a very real way, that every sack of grain and every stored barrel represents days of survival. Peasants from the surrounding lands rush into the castle, bringing whatever they can carry: animals, food, their families. The number of people inside the walls rises rapidly. A space designed for 500 now must hold twice that number. The environment becomes tighter. The air becomes heavier. The smell intensifies. The tension becomes almost physical. And for the first time, you clearly realize that every aspect of the castle's design, the spiral staircases, the protected well, the thick walls, the arrow slits, was not a display of power. It was a detailed survival plan. The third day begins in silence, not the quiet of a peaceful morning with distant work sounds and the smell of food being prepared, but a dense, compressed silence filled with held breaths. You stand on the walls, looking toward the horizon, and what you see changes something inside you permanently. The army is there, camped less than 500 meters from the castle walls, spread across the plain like a dark mass moving slowly. Tents, fires, horses, banners shifting in the cold wind. If you listen closely, you can hear the dull sound of hammers working wood, assembling siege machines, catapults, and mobile towers. They did not come to negotiate. Inside the castle, the reality of the siege begins to settle in not with immediate battle, but with something far more dangerous, the routine of confinement. Because a medieval siege rarely began with direct assault. Most of the time, it was a brutal game of patience. The army outside did not need to attack. It only needed to wait, block supplies, prevent escape, and let time do the rest. Hunger would win. Medieval commanders understood something simple: you do not need to break a fortress if you can empty the stomachs of those inside. And at that moment, all the preparation from before gains new meaning. The castle's steward begins rationing with precise control. Each person receives exact portions of bread, broth, and water. Animals that are not essential are slaughtered first, then livestock. War horses are kept last in case they are needed. Children receive slightly more. The sick receive less, not out of cruelty but survival logic. Everyone understands. In the early days, there is still order. People pray. Guards rotate shifts. Archers conserve arrows carefully. Every shot matters. Then comes the first catapult strike. The sound is not explosive. It is heavy, mechanical, followed by a long whistle through the air and then impact. A massive stone hits the wall, scattering fragments. No one dies, but the message is clear. Time has started, and something unexpected happens. While men prepare defenses, women organize survival. They treat wounds, prepare remedies, boil water, distribute food. The lady of the castle assumes real leadership. Historical records show women often led castle defenses. They were always there. The second week becomes unbearable. Food shrinks, energy fades, disease spreads, the system weakens, and still the castle holds, not because of heroism, but because everything was built for this moment. On the 14th day, a white flag appears, a proposal. The Lord must decide, negotiate or resist. And here is the truth of that world: survival is not victory. It is choosing the least devastating option and living with it. This story happened countless times across medieval Europe. And what it reveals is not war but human behavior under pressure. How people organize scarcity, how systems emerge, how intelligence sharpens under stress. You look around one last time, and you realize these walls still stand. Not despite time, but because of it. If this changed how you see medieval castles, leave a comment. Like the video, subscribe, and in the next one you will see what it was like to survive a medieval winter.